TV audience for Sunday's Oscars fell by more than half. Latest disappointing number for live television generally and award shows in particular. About 9.5 million, or 9.8, million viewers, US viewers, tuned in for the 93rd Academy Awards, according to Walt Disney's ABC. Last year, about 24 million watched, which was the lowest since Nielsen began recording audience totals in 1974. The peak was 55.2 million in 1998 when Titanic was the big winner. Joining us to discuss whether or not we attribute this to the aftershocks of the pandemic or we have a lot of award shows that are in decline is Tokunbo Adetoya, co-founder and CEO of a lifestyle company, Nairabox. Tokunbo, you're very welcome.
Oh, hi. Thanks,
Thank you for joining us. So, look, how are you interpreting these numbers? If we take a look at this point, is it the pandemic or how do you see them?
It's the Oscars, right? We all know about the Oscars. It's been the big headline guide, I guess, for movies each year, right? You hear about some movies at the Oscars, you hear some beforehand, and it kind of just gives you a sense of the direction that the Hollywood is going, right? I think in more recent years, they've struggled. I think, was it last year that they had the boycott?
Right.
And they've had challenges with even the hosts. So I think it's a combination of things. So aside the pandemic, which obviously is a key factor, I think the audience is just oversaturated with the different awards. There's the SAGs, the Brits, and it's not just the Oscars anymore. It doesn't stand out.
Right.
So I think it was bound to happen. Like I said, it's been a steady decline for them. I think your chart even shows that. So it was expected. The pandemic basically just exemplified that.
Great stuff. Now I want to ask, the Oscars are based on movies. Movies depend on cinemas. We're coming towards the end of April now. We've got about a few days to go before April is over. How would you assess cinema traffic into Nigerian cinemas so far, first quarter?
I think it's been quite good considering. So we still have some federal regulations around the numbers that can go to the cinema. So they're still practicing the protocols, the COVID-19 protocols, to ensure that everybody that goes is safe. I think it's 33% in Lagos and 50% across board. But if you look at the numbers of people performing, you can see the movies performing, especially the local movies. Nollywood titles are doing really well. I think it was Prophetess that just crossed the 100 million mark. Funke Akindele's movie earlier this year did really well. So there's a huge market. I think there's probably room for expansion. With 200 million plus people, we've got maybe 50 cinemas in the whole country. There's a lot of room for expansion. At the cinema stage and probably across other platforms too.
Fantastic. Speaking of other platforms, Nairabox, you have a subscription service, for cinemas where folks pay a monthly fee and can see a number of movies. We actually had an analyst from FDC to discuss this when the news broke. So I want you to take a listen to what she said about the business model. Let's take a listen to that.
Okay.
The thing is, looking at the business model, I don't think it's a very sustainable one with what you've explained, because if you say movie ticket is 2,000 or 1.5, or say 2,000, and you go 4 times a month, you're going to be spending 8,000. The cinemas will be making 8,000 per person, right? But now, if someone goes 4 times a month, they'll be making only 2,000 naira, which is not very cost effective. But then when you look at the impact the pandemic has had on the industry, it's been a lot, and then it's impacted their revenues negatively. So they're just trying to drive traffic. I think it's a good marketing strategy in the short term, but then looking at it medium term, long term, I do not think that it's a sustainable strategy or business model in itself.
All right. So your response, what do you make of that? Was that accurate, or tell me? That's why we have you on here. Tell me about the business model, how you think it's going to work, short term, long term.
All right, so I'm glad I have an opportunity to to clarify.
Okay.
We're not the cinema, right? We're a ticketing platform. We buy tickets and resell. We have great relationships with most of the cinemas, and as a result, we're able to leverage on some of the benefits that a partner would. We aren't looking to make a whole lot of money from this, right?
Okay.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to get that cinema going audience, trying to drive traffic, trying to grow the numbers. As to sustainability, we have other avenues, right? So we say we had 1 million people going to the cinema. We understand their behavior, the nature of their audience, the gender, the locations, the things that they do, where they go afterwards, general stuff, right? And that consumer behavior and data is, or those data points tend to form a lot of value to the customer and to partners. So what we can do now is make recommendations to those customers, and as a result, monetize.
Gotcha.
So whereas a customer suddenly finds that it's just like on Facebook or Instagram, right. You talk about headphones, and then you see.
Right. We were just talking about that in the previous segment. The Apple tracking thing on iOS. Yeah.
So I mean. I know there are privacy concerns, right? So we don't sell your data to people, right? We make recommendations based on what you have. What we do sell is trends, right? So a bunch of people are doing this. At the cinema, they don't ask you your gender, your age, where you're coming from, your income. They don't know that. And they would love to know that because it will help them market the movies a lot better. It would help to spread the word. Like you said, the Oscars didn't do so well. Possibly because people didn't even know the movies. The Father, I think.
I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen a single one.
I literally heard about it that day.
When it won, right?
Exactly. And the other movies are coming out at the end of the day next year that I know about. So. I think we have some ways to go, but in terms of sustainability, we've got it pretty much locked down.
Fantastic. I think we only got about 30 seconds. Streaming services, are they a threat to movies? Quick answer on streaming services. Netflix, Arise Play, Amazon Prime, so on.
No.
They're not?
Not at all.
You think they can coexist?
I think they coexist. I think it's there's certain windows. People would love to go to the movies. We've missed it. We've all missed it, right? As soon as the lockdown was eased, everybody went out.
Yeah.
Movies is part of that journey, and I think it always will be.
Fantastic stuff. Tokunbo Adetoya, co-founder, CEO, Nairabox, thank you so much for joining us and clearing the air on the subscription model. Let's have to have you back.